So, welcome to this video. It feels like a long time since I put one together. But tomorrow, AFC Bournemouth entertain Burnley. In this video, we've got the Funnell Forecast. He's on location this week, so we're going to slip his predictions into this video. We've got a chat with Tony, aka Mr Tigz. It's a bit of a replay from the podcast if you haven't downloaded it, but we go over our thoughts about the upcoming match against the Claret. It's going to be a big one. I'm travelling up, so yeah, interesting. People have been saying you shouldn't be going to away games, Sam, because we always lose. Well, Sheffield United proved that that's not the case, so hopefully roles will be reversed. Also, a bit of travel advice coming up too, and also Eddie Howe's press conference as well. He's been answering questions from the media this morning, and one of his comments actually was on Dan Gosling, who came out and complained about the referee in the Sheffield United match, John Moss. Little sarky comments. Refrained from giving my opinion on that myself because yes, referees should be accountable and they should come out and say stuff, but, you know, the way that players chat to referees is an utter disgrace. You don't have to be a brilliant lip reader to see the grief they give the referees. So, you know, yeah, the referees, if they give some snide comments, I don't overly care, to be honest. Just get on with playing the game. If you're not good enough, Dan Gosling, don't look to the referee. It's like Harry Arter back in his day would constantly moan at the referee. Concentrate on your own game, mate. So, in my opinion, yeah, I just don't think it needed to be said. Just like the Frano interview talking about Ryan Fraser again a few days ago in the Echo, saying about you know, he's a changed man now. Just don't say that. We just want all your talking to be done on the pitch. These media interviews at the moment are making us look a bit of a laughing stock. Yeah, I agree that John Moss, perhaps professionally, the referee shouldn't be saying those kind of things, and the fact that there was no charge against Dan Gosling saying those things, it was effectively brushed under the carpet by the, you know, Referees Association or whatever it's called, you know, pretty much says that, yeah, that probably did happen, but just got to get used to it and start playing your own game, Dan Gosling. Don't worry about what the referee's saying. If you're getting psychologically taken aback by what the refs are saying, well, you know, I dread to think how you react when you get slated from fans of, you know, both sides. So concentrate on your own game and you will reap the rewards. But Eddie Howe said this morning in his press conference, I totally back Dan. I back my player always and what he says, but we've got a game tomorrow and I don't want to drag that up now. Eddie said that Sheffield United was a similar feeling to a few away games this season. The quote was, we sat back and we were a little bit protective of the scoreline. On the importance of tomorrow's game, he said they're all important. When you look at the last three games, you've seen an upturn in performances. He says he hopes momentum has changed in terms of the level of displays. On Burnley form, he said they've taken points in difficult games. We'll go there in good confidence from the last three games and hopefully our quality will show. It needs to show, Eddie. We've been lucky, really, with the way that some of the results have fallen for us. Thank goodness for Son and his last-minute goal against Aston Villa, and then Man City did what they do against West Ham. Obviously, a bit of a reaction as well to that European 2-year ban. The players have responded, and Pep and Sterling have said, look, whatever happens to us, we're gonna stay. So fair play to them, but they got the result, which means we've got that 2-point buffer ahead of two teams below us that's absolutely needed. 3 points against Burnley would be utterly huge. Of course, Eddie Howe, the Burnley connection, he was asked about that. He said he does seem a long time ago. A lot has changed with both clubs since I left, but he's credited Sean Dyche and said it's great that both are doing so well. The focus is on 3 points tomorrow. Team news tomorrow. People have been thinking David Brooks? Nah, long way from it by the sounds of it. Long-termers are still out, but they're making good progress. There's a group of 4 players getting there slowly. David Brooks is in that group. And he said that he's had his best week in terms of rehab. His ankle has felt stronger, but some way to go. So, yeah, even if you're expecting him to be appearing in the Premier League Cup match against Southampton tonight, which should be huge, by the way, 3,000 tickets and more being sold, which is great. Get down to Vitality tonight if you can. There may well be a cheeky stream online, if not. Dan Juma and Kelly both on grass, which is great. Some more news that's come out during the week is about Arsene Wenger and his interpretation of what he thinks the offside rule should be. Easy for me to say. Eddie said, I think the changes that are being talked about are game-changing. It would give attackers the advantage, maybe a need to change how you defend. It says he's all for changes that can enhance the game. As long as there's consistency, I've got no problem with it. So basically, if there's a fence, Eddie's sitting on it. He hasn't really said one way or the other there. That Premier League Cup match tonight against Southampton, we managed to do them at their place, which is fantastic. And Eddie on the 3,000 ticket sale said it's great to see. It's great all round. One of the biggest challenges for us, AFC Bournemouth, is to improve our academy, our delivery of players to the first team. He says these games are the games our youngsters need. The fan support is brilliant, and if you're interested in watching any of the last video, do check out the training ground walk around. Not much has happened, but there should be some action soon, so do check that out on our YouTube channel. Other than that, that's pretty much it from the press conference this morning. So, last match for AFC Bournemouth was against Sheffield United, and on the podcast I chatted with Tony, aka Mr Tigz, and after the game we were a little bit downbeat about things, but these were our thoughts ahead of tomorrow's match against Burnley.
It's each and every match, Tony, that we seem to be coming up against, it is crucial for the Cherries as they continue to try to pull away from the relegation zone at Turf Moor. Didn't quite happen at Bramall Lane. Hopefully it'll happen there. It's going to be another tough encounter against a side that just seem to get on over us every single time we play them.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fight, isn't it? It's, we know it's going to be. We know how they can play and how physical they can be. Is Lerma back?
Yeah, he will be back for that one. It was only a one game suspension. It's a bit weird actually, because after the first booking it was 2, but then the Red actually conversely took it down to 1. But if he gets booked again, he gets 2. Bad. So I don't know how it works. I was like Mystic Meg plucking numbers out of the air. I think I'm not really sure, but it's it'll be good to have him back as that leader, not maybe vocally, but by example in the middle of the park, won't it?
Oh, completely. And it will be crunching in the middle of that park. I think I'm predicting that Lerma will come back. He'll lead us to victory, and then he'll get another yellow card and lose him again for another or something crazy.
Just make it even harder for us, Jefferson. In terms of the team formation, I mean, Burnley are always very rigid, usually sort of 4-4-2. Sometimes they just have the one man up front. But obviously, Josh King. Obviously, he's always a threat when he's on the pitch. Dynamic, quick, powerful. Wondering whether Eddie could maybe shoehorn him into the side somehow, either in a 4-5-1 or perhaps going back to the old 4-4-2 that we know and sometimes love.
Yeah, I think there's a really good shout here for a formation change back to the 4-4-2. There were points in the game against Sheffield United where Sheffield United were bypassing us completely, our midfield. And considering we got 3 of our players in there who, the ball was going over the top of them.
Exactly. I think that's where they did really well, just bypass it completely.
Now, Burnley, we know Burnley, and we know that Burnley are likely to play in a similar way. They could try and nullify our midfield through the way that they play and getting the ball up early. So maybe a 4-4-2 might be a way forward, because I don't think we're going to be able to have the same impact with a midfield 3 that we have been able to against Brighton and against Villa.
And I don't know, it's just every match is getting more and more pivotal, and I just wanted one of these matches to sort of take the pressure off. It didn't happen against Watford, but thank goodness we got those 2 wins at home, eh?
Oh, well, if we didn't, then we'd be written off for sure, wouldn't we? I mean, we'd be worrying about Norwich catching up and overtaking us if we didn't. It is a worry still. It's still a concern. There is still lots of games left to play. All I'm kind of hoping is, do you remember at the beginning of the season, you and I had a conversation and we talked about how we weren't able to lift our games against a lot of teams unless they were higher up the league than us?
Yeah, agreed.
Well, most teams are now higher up the league than us.
That's a good way to look at it. Tony, I love your positivity. Every week you come on, and I'm so glad. And you make some good points there. It's going to be a tough match at this early stage. What can you feel in your waters for this one?
I'm just feeling deep now. I am. I'm feeling that it's going to be a unbelievable 4-2 win to Bournemouth.
Wow.
With a Stanislas getting 2.
Well, I would take that all day long. I'm going to go for a less exciting 1-0 to Bournemouth. Weirdly, I don't overly know how I feel after that Sheffield United match, though, because I'm not sort of crying into my bottle of Estrella like I was the other week. It's so funny, Tony. I did a YouTube video for the Same Old Arsenal podcast, and it was one of these online video ones with full way. I think you saw a bit of it.
I did. I watched it.
And I had a large bottle of Estrella. So they do like these kind of, obviously a standard size bottle's 330ml, and then you get these like 700 or whatever. And some guy in the YouTube comments said, "Oh my goodness, he must be depressed. He's drinking a bottle of wine from the bottle," and it wasn't. It was a bottle of Estrella, but hopefully we won't be crying over a beer, and we'll be coming away with a 1-0 win. But and Tony, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Relatively short notice too. I thought you were brilliant again. Thank you so much, mate.
Thank you, buddy. And can I just say one thing? Other brands of beer are available.
He's a pro. Tony, thanks very much, mate.
See you, buddy.
So there we go. Those were our thoughts, and got to say, Burnley, it's so fun and it's so true. I've got really no issue with the way that they play football. I think Sean Dyche has done a magnificent job. It's not the prettiest, yes, but the way he's got them organised is, I think, is tremendous. You look at Atletico Madrid in the week against Liverpool. They scored there, you could call it a smash and grab if you wanted, given the amount of possession that Liverpool had. They scored the goal early on, and then they were, you could see those visible banks of 4. 4-4-2 Atletico played, and Burnley, they've, over the years, they've toyed with different systems, but they've got a set system now, and every player knows it to a T. Burnley bingo, anti-football, we don't want that in the Premier League. There's a whole plethora of, in fact, this is the Burnley bingo card. I wonder how many of these are going to get bought out tomorrow. Obviously, it's only really mentioned by opposition fans when they lose and Burnley win. But why is it that their team gets slated with any number of these terms? Atletico Madrid, brilliant, excellent, well executed, Diego Simeone masterclass. You can see it from Burnley fans' point of view, can't you? But they're a credit to the Premier League in some ways, because they are so consistent, and you never think that they're going to be troubled with relegation. Now, you could have said that about us, but this season's been especially bad. There have been a number of factors why that is. Their fans on the whole are pretty good. Online, you get the sort of usual people, but you can sort of mix it up with them, and I actually, perversely, given the lengthy journey, I actually quite like going up there and having a few drinks beforehand at the cricket club next door to the stadium. That's the place to be beforehand, aiming to get there for about 12:30, having a couple of beers, and walk off the stadium, and just fingers crossed we'll pull something out of the bag. What does Tony Funnell think? If you don't know who Tony Funnell is, here's an explanation.
Welcome to the Funnell Forecast. Born in 1957, Tony Funnell is an ex-league striker, playing for Southampton, Gillingham, Brentford, and most notably, AFC Bournemouth. He signed for 4th Division Bournemouth back in September 1981 for £5,000 under David Webb, and he had the best season of his career in 81-82, top scoring with 16 goals in 43 league games to help the Cherries to promotion. A back injury, however, cut short his league career in 1983, and then he moved on to Poole Town, where he scored 127 goals in 308 games. Every week on Back of the Net, he predicts the weekend's fixtures. So, can you beat the Funnell Forecast?
So AFC Bournemouth legend Tony Funnell. He's usually with Mr Tigz doing his predictions for the game, but he's on location this week. So what are his predictions ahead of this Premier League match week. We're going to be doing something very special from the start of March called the 100 Funnell Fixtures, something like that. And there'll be some money involved as well, and hopefully we can give some away to charity, a bit of a fundraiser. But yeah, it's all based around his predictions. But we'll be doing that a bit later on. But these are his predictions this week. Fingers crossed, Tony's got some of them right.
Afternoon everybody, and welcome to the Funnell Forecast. This week we're coming from Spain, sunny Spain, and we've got a full week fixtures. No messing around with the winter break and half teams playing, half the teams not. Start off with the Saturday fixtures. The lunchtime game, Chelsea versus Spurs. I'm going for a home win for Chelsea there. Then we've got Burnley versus Bournemouth. I'm going for a Bournemouth win. Bournemouth definitely need that, and they're well good enough to beat Burnley as long as they keep it tight at the back. Crystal Palace against Newcastle. I'm going for a home win for Crystal Palace. And then another home win for Sheffield United against Brighton. Then we've got Southampton versus Aston Villa. I'm going for Southampton, and that'll be good for Bournemouth if Villa get beat. Followed by the evening game on the Saturday, Leicester versus Manchester City. I'm going for a away win for Manchester City. Then we're into Sunday fixtures. Manchester United to beat Watford. Then I'm going for Wolves to beat Norwich, followed by an Arsenal win at home to Everton. That's a treble, all home wins. And then we've got the Monday fixture, Liverpool versus West Ham, and I can't see anyone beating Liverpool, so I'm going Liverpool to beat West Ham. Okay, good luck everyone, and we'll see you next week for the Funnell Forecast. Cheers.
Crossed by Heffernan, and was that a foul? It's a goal anyway from Funnell.
So there we go. Those are Tony's predictions for tomorrow's match. Safe journey if you're travelling. I'm just going to do a quick Google now and see what BBC Burnley weather says and see if there are any amber warnings. I mean, it's this is it. That's what you're looking at. It's going to be pretty chilly. There's going to be rain. There are some weather warnings. Yellow warning of wind. Strong gusty winds in association with showers. Some delays to road, rail, air and ferry transport are likely. If there's flooding, you might actually need a ferry to get to the game. But yeah, just be very, very careful. It's a yellow warning rather than an amber. But just be really careful when you go up there. If you are going, I'll be there doing some vlogging. Hopefully not during the game because I want to enjoy it, but we'll see. And after the game, we'll hopefully do a few chats as well. I like doing interviews when we've got 3 points. Everyone's in such a good mood. But yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yeah, enjoy the game. I've revised my prediction for a... Oh no, should I go for 2-1? It's going to be 2-1. 2-1 Bournemouth tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking. Whatever your thoughts are, put them in the comments below. Predicted team? That's what we're thinking. It's a tricky one because Josh King, I think he's scored goals against Burnley before. I think he's got to be starting. So that's the team I would like for tomorrow. But yeah, let me know your thoughts as well. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I'll be speaking to you soon. And take care.